All right, everybody, so welcome back. So there has been a rise in cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease on the sister island of Tobago. So to tell us more, we do have on the line this morning Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection, Dr. Faith Brebner. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And by the way, the increase is actually happening nationally. We just are probably doing a better job at recording it and identifying it.
All right, if you want to put it that way, Madam Secretary of Health, what is the situation in Tobago?
So in Tobago, we recognize the surveillance unit, which is under the Office of the CMOH, which is under the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. We've been doing some data collection that as we frequently do. We recognize over the last couple of weeks that we have been seeing increased cases of two particular diseases that look very similar. They seem to be the same thing, but they are slightly different. So those diseases are impetigo and hand, foot, and mouth disease. I think in the larger community, people have really been speaking more about hand, foot, and mouth disease, but both are what we are seeing circulating. Impetigo is a bacterial infection, while hand, foot, and mouth disease is a viral infection. Impetigo it looks like reddish sores along the face, and you also see them around the hand and the nose and on the feet. While hand, foot, and mouth disease, you see the sores around the mouth, but you also see a rash along the hands and the feet of the person who's infected. We're seeing it primarily in young children, so people under the age of 5 or so is where we are seeing the highest number of cases. So we just thought it was important to tell the public that this is what is happening and to ask the public to help us work through what we do to prevent further spread of it.
Yeah. Have you been able to collect data at all? Because we have been hearing about a surge, a rise, and when we speak about those types of terms, it gives a particular perception as to how serious the situation is.
Right. So at least for hand, foot, and mouth disease, during the first epidemiological week of February, we saw that we had about 17 cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease. During the week following that jumped up, that doubled to 34 cases. And that is what really alerted us to the fact that we were seeing an increase. For impetigo, it went from 7 cases to 11 cases. We are also looking at other diseases, so we're looking at chickenpox and other similar, and we are not seeing that kind of jump, which is why we thought it important to send out the press release and to encourage parents in particular. If you see that your child has these signs and symptoms, keep them home, because when they go to school and they interact with other children at school, they are more likely to pass it on to somebody else. While if you keep them home, we just kind of wait out the time, they'll be fine and you could send them back to school in a week or so again after they are better.
Yeah, but have you all been able to ascertain where this would have come from?
So the bacteria and the virus that is causing these diseases are around. It's kind of like, when you say we have cold season or flu season, a particular period in the year, we happen to just see an upsurge of those things. This is exactly what we're seeing with this. So this is not a new virus, this is not a new bacteria, this is not new. We just happen to be seeing it, an upsurge of it, because it's a cyclical thing. Every couple of years, we see it pick up and we see it go back down. It's like everything else. Every couple of years, you see chickenpox come back, go back down, or every couple of years you see red eye come up and go back down, those types of things. That is exactly what is happening now. So it's really nothing to be scared about. I know coming out of COVID, we are all afraid of everything that seems to be infectious. As long as you see virus, everybody starts running scared. But it is actually one that's been around for quite some time. And we are really just encouraging people to do the hygiene type of things that will help us manage what we are currently seeing. Nothing to be concerned about, nothing to be scared about at all.
Yeah. And you're saying that most of the cases have been found among, is it children?
Yes, so the vast majority of our cases are found in preschool age or lower primary school age. And let's think about that. You know, my mother, who was a preschool teacher for many, many years, always speaks about the fact that children aren't always guilty. Children always have a cold. Children always are like that. And because of how they interact with each other, they're always playing. They're always, you know, one hand is always in somebody else's mouth, always interacting in that kind of way, because that is just how children are. So they are more likely to spread it among themselves. So we are seeing it in the, you know, the daycares and the primary schools and so forth is where we are seeing it more. And if you recognize, even if you look at the data, as you get older, when children do not interact that intimately with each other, the cases are tapering off. Adults can get it as well, but again, because we do not stick our hands in other people's mouths as normal part of play, we are not seeing cases like that in adults at this point.
Yeah. What has the impact been? Because I know that it has affected the operations at some schools in Tobago.
It has, and the division with responsibility for health has actually been working closely with the division with responsibility for education to ensure that, one, we don't overreact, but that we do what we need to do. So we have protocols that have been set up where it speaks to what happens if a parent, if a teacher sees that a child has a case, call the parents quickly, have them come back for the child so that the child is not in school for the whole day interacting with others. It goes back to sanitizing of the school, sanitizing of the area in particular where the child was. And again, when we say sanitizing, we're really not talking about anything extravagant. We're really talking about going back to the plain old soap and water, because that is what kills the virus, that is what kills the bacteria. Using the alcohol-based sanitizer if you don't have soap and water, or in addition to the soap and water, and just ensuring that we pay attention to the symptoms, we pay attention to the early signs. So for both, for example, the child may have a fever because, again, the body is trying to get rid of this infection that it just picked up. The child may feel unwell because, again, the body is trying to fight off this thing. You may see loss of appetite, sore throat, and hand, foot, and mouth disease, and then you start seeing the crust, you start seeing the sores, you start seeing the rash popping up. So once you see those things happening, definitely keep the children at home, keep those areas as clean as you can. So keep them washed, keep them cleaned. And of course, if the child comes into contact with, you know, like the bed sheet and the clothes that they're wearing and that kind of stuff, keep that as, you know, wash those things as well so that it does not pass from one person to the other.
Yeah. You know, we do have a saying, time is of the essence, right? So is it then that if, let's say, a parent, a guardian sees or may think that that child has taken up the virus or is infected, should they be seeking medical attention almost immediately instead of trying to treat it at home?
Right. So because you may not know the difference between, you know, impetigo, for example, and hand, foot, and mouth disease, we do encourage you to seek medical attention. But that could simply be calling the health center, calling a doctor friend, calling whoever to see, well, this is what is happening. Let me know what we can do. But we do encourage you to seek medical attention as quickly as possible, because these are not very, you know, they're not severe diseases. You know, we don't have people getting extremely ill, dying of them and so forth. We do tend to not go to the medical facilities for those things. That's just a traditional thing we do. And primarily because the treatment for them is primarily time. So you allow the hand, foot, and mouth disease to take its course within a couple of days, within a week or so. The child will be fine. Same thing with the impetigo. There's maybe a little antibacterial cream that you can use on the impetigo, and that helps a little bit. But really, it's just the time that you just need to have this person not go to school during that time, and we would be fine.
Yeah. Madam Secretary, is there anything else that you'd like to place on the table before you leave us this morning?
No, that's it. I just really, really encourage you. If you see your children with these the rashes, the thing, please keep them at home, because that is what is going to prevent us from having to shut down the schools to have to do mass sanitization because the entire school got ill. So just please keep them at home. It's just for a couple of days. Keep them at home. That's all we're asking you to do.
Yeah, Doctor, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Thank you very much for taking the time to spend with us this morning. We do appreciate it. Bye for now, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we are going to a very short break, everybody. We're coming back with some calls. Yeah, you're calling us on 623-1711. The extension, it's 1995. We're coming back.